Good to
Mr.
see you.
Mr. Kevin, Mor Acro, what's up, man? Tell me about where you are and what's your life like since I haven't seen you in a little bit.
Yeah, I'm in Tamrat, Morocco, which is a city north of Agadir, which most people won't know in Morocco, but it's about 3 or 4 hours from Marrakesh on the coast, Atlantic Ocean. I've been here since January. I left end of January. We saw each other in Mexico at Acro Yoga International Immersion. And then I came out to Morocco to teach some acro yoga here. I've been working on building community here. There's a lot of surf camps around this area. And any given day, each surf camp has yoga classes in the morning or the evening. So there's quite a bit of yoga teachers around here. And my intention is to kind of get them together and build an acro yoga community here. But a lot of it's in transit. People leave and they come. But nowadays, since quarantine, we've been just staying at home, doing a little bit of acro yoga and working on the YouTube channel.
Cool, man. Yeah, looks fun. What is it that brought you out to Morocco in the first place? I think we've talked about this, but I don't recall off the top of my head.
Yeah, I actually looked up best places to learn to surf. I was like 25 years old at the time and working a job that I felt like it was kind of like a dead-end job. You know, I was a teacher assistant in a high school. I was a paraprofessional working with the special education population, so the physically handicapped as well as the mentally handicapped. But I needed a change, you know. I felt like I was gonna be getting old soon, and I wanted to do things that I knew I wouldn't be able to do if I waited till I retired. You know, if I was gonna be 60 years old and went to learn to surf, it doesn't work. You're in San Diego now, but I'm from Chicago, and it's hard to improve your surfing there, right? You get a couple days a year actually on Lake Michigan. But I wanted to get better at surfing. So I looked up best places to learn to surf. I lived in Byron Bay, Australia. I worked at a hostel there that was on the list. Bali, Kuta Beach there. I'd been there. And then there was like the UK, and that sounded cold and expensive. So I'm like, nah. And then Morocco was on the list and looked like warm weather, cool, different culture. And it just became this dream of mine, right? And this was 2015, and at this time are we okay with the connection?
Yes, cool. Sir. Yeah.
At this time I had done my yoga teacher training too in 2015, so it's this time when I was looking for a change in my life. I ended up deciding not to go to Morocco at this time, 2015, and then 2 years later I finally made it, right? I was trying to come out here for surfing. And then I had some issues, right, with my health. I suffer from epilepsy. I've had some seizures in my life. So I was supposed to come out for surfing, and it ended up, I winded up back in the States. I'm like, what do I do? You know, I found myself in my hometown. I was supposed to be in Morocco, but because health reasons, I went back to the States. And that's when I really started this passion for acro yoga. And I went to Divine Play in 2017 and met other yoga teachers there, that this is what they were doing, was traveling and teaching yoga, and yoga teaching was their primary profession. So after this festival, Morocco was still in my head. I hadn't made it, right? I was trying to go there for 2 years now. And I saw some people teaching yoga on like the surf camp roof terraces. I go, hey, I could do that. I've been teaching yoga for 2 years now. And I went ahead and booked 2 weeks at a surf camp and a one-way ticket out here. And in those 2 weeks, I had a surf coach. I was learning to surf. I had my resumes. I was trying to find the lay of the land, see if I could find a job teaching yoga. And at the end of those 2 weeks, I'd found like my dream job. You know, they told me my requirements were to teach yoga twice a day, eat breakfast and dinner with the guests, go surfing with the guests, and we'll give you a room board and a little bit of money. So I was like, okay, I'm in, you know. So after 2 weeks here in Morocco, I had my dream job, which was to be able to make a living teaching yoga. And I really did not think that was possible. In Chicago, I'd be making like $20, maybe $28 per yoga class, and you're not going to pay rent. You're not going to pay for your car or drive around for all those classes. So coming to Morocco allowed me to be yoga teacher and allow me to focus on that as a lifestyle. So this was 2017. I've been here on and off since then, almost 3 years later now.
Yeah, to make acro, or to make yoga in general a sustainable life while you're also able to live near the beach and to be with a community and to surf. I mean, you're living the dream. It's insane. There's so many rabbit holes I want to go down after you just shared all that. But what was that, how surreal, talk to me a little more about how surreal that was, going from battling health concerns and like being confused and being like, I gotta get there, to, you know, it sounds like shortly thereafter, living what felt like to be your dream life. Like how did that feel?
Yeah, it's a slow transition to exactly finding that niche. You know, your niche was something that I was searching for when I first came out here in 2017. I believe I still am finding that as I grow. Sure. But I remember the exact moment I told you I had that confusion, the health concerns. I came home, I had no job, nothing but synchronicity. An old farmer I knew in Wisconsin, he has an organic veggie farm. His partner had left, so I went up and started working on the land up there. You know, I spent a lot of time by myself. I was just working with the farmer, like, you know, barefoot in the fields, harvesting, selling veggies, and then rest of the day I'd be by myself. I'd do yoga, I'd play guitar, and I just kind of focus and try and get my dream going again, you know. And that's when I saw the divine play. But this time was like healing, right? Where I was eating the veggies, I was spending time in solitude, working in the earth, you know, outside. And this was really important to me. That's why I found that job in the first place. But and then I remember when I got to Portland on that trip, and I was like, this is it. This is where I'm meant to be right now. I was walking down the street, I remember, to the first day of the workshop, and I first felt that feeling of, yes, this is my life, and this is a crossroads of what I love to do, what I could make money doing, what I can do with my financial and freedom situation right now. Like I was working on a farm, season was ending. You know, I had this time. I didn't have this commitment to anything. I didn't have a place, you know, to rent or anything. So this was this time of exactly stepping into that. I'm where I need to be, where my passions and all my things have been leading. That was a powerful moment.
That's special. Yeah, I'm 25 right now, so I'm like, I think it resonates a little deeper too. But I like how it sounds like you've always had ways at least to connect with yourself. How's the connection? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, you're great. But dude, you're 25. That's crazy.
Yeah, so
you're so young.
I'm young.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'm 25.
No, I had no idea.
So I mean, but you're connecting to yourself. You're getting outside. You're being in solitude. That's the wisdom I've seeked so much lately, and that's like the best teacher, I think. As intellectual and as focused as I want to be, like that's what really provides the answers. Has that always been how you are, that you kind of just have had this knowing that yoga and time alone and time outside and you know, time with the earth, have you always just kind of been the type of person to gravitate towards that?
Not necessarily. I think it's a path of discovery. You know, we learn these things as much as we must look for the answers in ourselves, in these solitudes, and like you said, in nature. There's people that have done these things before, you know, like the transcendentalists going out to the pond, and like these things are not my inventions. It's just something that, yes, I guess I was called to go to the woods or whatever, but it's not something that's necessarily in me forever. I lived a very like mainstream American, you know, I was athlete in high school, no parties or anything, you know, straight edge. You go to university, you get your job, and you follow this. But
what do you think it is about that life? Sorry to cut you off. That like you seem like you've really shifted from that, like that traditional American. Like, what are you thinking about? What is it about, in your own words, that life that makes people almost out of necessity need to start looking for more, you know, in the form of nature and stillness and all the things you just talked about? Because I was that way too. I was an athlete, straight edged, super, and now I'm like, I'm only going farther away from that. And so I see a lot, like I see a lot of myself in you. So, and like, I really admire what you're doing. So yeah, what do you think it is about that pushes us so far away from it?
It is just that absence of that more, you know, that mystery, that wonder. When we have our life planned out and, you know, we're going this way, we lose that sense of wonder. And of course that connection, you know, that's why I love going out in the ocean and surfing. It's just like feeling that connection to the earth instead of, just being inside. Man, when I worked at the high school, it was like, you know, it was great. I loved helping and being there. But when you look outside and you know that there's this world beyond these walls that are regimented by a bell, and like, we want to go with those impulses. We want to take those calls to go to Morocco or to go to Mexico. Like, you know, we need to stay open to these things. But this regiment, like, you know, athletics, study, career, this allows a lot of freedom in our lives as well. If we have this discipline and control. Now, it may appear that like just going to Morocco and stuff, but there's actually a lot of hard work that goes into it. And we can't forget that. We can't neglect that.
Yeah.
You know?
What is it about Morocco that invited you to stay? And everybody's so, a lot of people are, I've been to Morocco only for like 5 days, and I remember I was sad I had to leave because of all the stories of people that were going to just stay and all that cool. I was like, dang, Morocco is this really rich place. What is it? And what do you think is so magical about Morocco?
It's very hospitable. The people are friendly. The land, for me, I love the color of the land alone. Like, it just calls me. It's got everything here. It's got mountains. It's got beaches. It's got desert. Music, you know, a mixture of cultures, a ton of history, and amazing weather, great food. It's just this place that it's got this magic to it, almost like we joke about this Moroccan manifestation magic, where it's like, oh, I want a donut, you know, or sitting on the beach, you say, I want a donut, and we talk about, okay, let's manifest a donut. And a donut guy comes. Or the other day we wanted a watermelon. It's like, all right, yeah, let's go get watermelon. But I don't want to go too far to get a watermelon. We turn the corner and there's a truck full of watermelon, you know, like just little things that I know I'm not alone in finding these synchronicities. I don't want to get too woo-woo and
I love it.
Energies and, you know, of a continent or a place or mountains, ocean, but like people find this all the time. You know, I'm not alone here. There's plenty of other people that have chosen to stay here through this pandemic and chosen to stay here beforehand because they find this magic of the land and the people that it enchants people, and they get stuck. They never leave Morocco.
I don't blame them. What if for someone considering going to Morocco, maybe they've checked out your pages, like, and they're thinking about it, but they don't know if they can pull the trigger. What might you say?
Oh, you gotta go. Like, yeah. What do you mean?
You gotta go.
You gotta go. If you're checking it out and it calls you, it interests you, I'd say don't wait. I've seen it change a lot in just the 3 years I'm here. The region I'm in, we've seen, excuse the motorcycle, we've seen big hotels go up, ton of development, the city's grown, new restaurants. So it's always good to go sooner than later, right?
What do you think people's biggest objections to like far long-term travel is?
A lot of times, far long-term travel, people have a lot of stuff, for one. You know, you might be able to get a subleaser and stuff for your apartment, but people have a lot of stuff. They have car, they have bills, loans. So I'd say the best advice for long-term travel is to minimize your bills, minimize your stuff. Like, When I left, I had some stuff in my grandma's garage, and now I've sold like speakers, headphones, slack rack, like all my things. I've just consolidated it. I got rid of my car, and this is what's going to allow you to have this long-term travel. But you do, you know, it's the cliche, you get weary of the road and you want to find this home base eventually. And that's where I feel I'm in this transition, where I'm in more of a nomadic, you know, like long-term travel.
Yeah. So do you consider Morocco your home base now? Like, are you digging your roots in over there?
We just rented this apartment we got for 6 months. So that's like the first time I've done that in years.
Congrats.
But now it's looking like we got to leave. But now that I'm here since January, it feels like home, you know?
Yeah.
I've invested in the language. I've been learning Darija, and like just the more you know about a culture, the way it works, the more you could thrive and adapt within it. So I myself.
How is it like, you know, kind of, learning the language, immersing I'm coming from an American perspective, like, you know, feeling like you can belong in the city and not like, for the people that are interested, I'm interested in longer term travel, staying in somewhere for a longer period of time. How was that for you? Like learning the language? What was the language? Is there Spanish with it too? Like because I have no Spanish, so I'm thinking, I'm just selfishly asking you now, like, how is that transition to like feeling like you're actually acclimating?
So Morocco is a mixture of languages. Yeah. Officially, the languages are Arabic, French, and Teshlahit, which is going to be like your indigenous, people refer to them as Berber people. In the north, they'll speak Spain because there's northern Ceuta. It's a Spanish territory that borders Morocco on this side of the Mediterranean. And also in Tangier, there's more Spanish spoken. So you get by with that. In the area I am, it's very touristic, like I said, with the surfers and everything. So you'll find speaking English, you'll be able to get by. You know, there's times when I wish my Darija was better here, but I learned when living on my own to get survival Darija, you know, be able to go to the market and ask how much things are and, you know, be able to order food how you want. This is just the essentials. I can't philosophize in Darija, but knowing these things, when you go to someone, it makes them smile when they see an American speaking Darija, which is the Moroccan dialect. It's a mixture of Arabic, Teshlahi, there's French words in there, there's some Spanish words. For example, week is semana, you know, semana. So there's a mixture in there.
Wow.
But people really respond to that. If you just invest in learning the language, it's just a matter of respect.
Letting the truck go by here.
I understand.
Talk to me about the YouTube channel, man. That is something that I was so excited to see, and it looks like it just is really blossoming, and it looks so awesome, and it looks fun and playful. Tell me what was the inspiration behind that and how it's going and what it's about.
Yeah, I guess I've always kind of wanted to have a YouTube channel going, but I didn't know exactly what I wanted to share or what people were interested in. Like in university, I made some films like Don't Take Ecstasy in Romania, which was experimental, like psychedelic trance song that I made on Ableton and put film for my trip to Romania in, which was, I told you about the epilepsy earlier, but I took some ecstasy one night there, and the next day I had a seizure, and I made a video about it and put it on YouTube, and it got like 400 views, but that's not what's going to get you onto YouTube, I guess. But that was like 10 years ago, and it's something I've been wanting to do. So last year, my friend said, you know, put some videos up, don't tell anyone, and see what gets traction, you know, do a couple different videos. So I made one. It was like why I left America to live in Morocco. And that got popular. It started to go viral, mini viral, you know. It's hard to get views on YouTube. It's not easy. Like if the average person uploads a video, if you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to get views, you know, unless it's super topical and you're lucky, or it's hard. But this video started getting traction. So I made Why I Left America to Live in Morocco Part 2 in December. So November and December, I made these videos. And again, it got some views. There's some people that saw the first one that liked the second one, and then went to Mexico, right? And I didn't do anything on YouTube. I forgot about it. You know, I don't think I thought about YouTube once on the trip. Maybe I did, seeing all you super inspiring people there. Like, we had podcasters and people really putting themselves out there, like content creators and stuff. And like, I don't know, maybe some of that magic, I absorbed some of that. That magic pixie dust or something.
Yeah.
I left, and I think my next video was like March. I did like a commute video, and I did a video where I eat like a sandwich and pizza and stuff. And then coronavirus happened and we had lockdown, and people were asking for an update. So I made an update on that. And like 3 months ago, we hit 1,000 subscribers. And that was like a big deal to me, because it's like,
yeah, that's huge.
I don't know, I had 100 probably in November or something less, you know?
Yeah.
And then with the lockdown, I think people just spent a lot of time on YouTube. I had a lot of time to produce and get creative and playful with like the limitations we had. Like, you know, you can't go anywhere, you're at home. What can you do for videos? Okay, we'll make some food. We got a nice kitchen for that. I could talk, tell some stories. I could try some Moroccan food, show some Moroccan things. And these videos started to really resonate with people. We went to the soup. Like, one of the things we do is go for vegetables. You know, you stay at the house, you go get the essentials. So we made a video about the soup, and that thing went like, I call it viral. It's, you know, we have 200,000 views on it now of us grocery shopping, you know. And I remember when that started going huge, it was just like, we'd get 1,000 subscribers in a day when that went viral. It was like trending, and it was crazy. So it just kept giving me motivation. People were commenting like, oh, try this, do this. And then I would just follow suggestions. Like, one was put a profile picture, you know. I didn't have it like a channel art or thumbnail or anything, you know. I didn't know how to record videos, man. I had my phone like this, so the videos have the black bars. Like, if you watch the old videos, they're so bad.
Wow.
Now I'm working with my partner, Andrea, and she's really helped step up the visual aspects of the projects, because she could put the camera on me and send me just like selfie going super fast. Like, this is all very new to me, you know. I knew I wanted to tell stories, but I don't really have the skills or experience to do it super well and professional yet. But people like this amateur, spontaneous realness of the videos. They seem to have really responded to that. So
yeah, I like admire. I'm one to overthink, like, what am I gonna do and do this, because I have a video background, and so like seeing, it's just like, I like the rawness and the playfulness and the it almost feels like you're just kind of going with it. You didn't have too much of a plan, and it's cool to see how that just blossoms so organically. Like, I think
just don't have too much of a plan. It's true.
So it's so admirable, man. Like, but what do you think it is about your videos that really resonate with people? Like, is it the rawness? Is it the novelty of Morocco?
Yeah, it's
and then you're a good character. Like, you're fun to watch. So that, I mean, I'm just gonna say that you're not gonna give yourself credit. I'm imagining. So you're awesome to watch. You're fun. You're playful. It's cool. You make us smile.
That's what people say. You make me smile. You inspired me. It's relaxing. Your voice, you know, for some videos.
Yeah.
What my friend said is some people don't know they're entertaining, is what he said. Like, when I uploaded some video about me with a hairbrush, or like me with a popsicle, and like, he's like, there is no bad content. You are the content, he said. So
that's so good. Man,
so
how
supportive
fun.
friend, you know, like, really, that's my friend Jeremy. He was really supportive in this whole thing. He's the one that told me about the just make videos and see what gains traction. He told me, you know, you are the content basically. So it just gives me no fear in making the videos, because like, okay, some people don't like them. Like I scratched lotto tickets and that got a lot of hate because gambling is a crime in Islam. So
Wow. Wow.
What was the question before that? I missed it.
Sorry, one second. There's dogs barking.
No worries.
They're going. All right.
Oh, about the videos, the spontaneity.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, hey, we got a video now. We're going here today, and this is like what people give me feedback for, is the spontaneity. The way I speak to people in Malaysia, they like that I've learned the language, and these are things that like I would have never considered when.
Wow, that's so cool to me to hear, because it's like you wouldn't have been able. There's no way you would have been able to like, all right, let's sit down and think of our YouTube videos and strategize how we're gonna do this, and I'm gonna like. That's not how it's like. People wouldn't resonate with that, and you would have never thought of the things people liked, and I think that's cool, because I'm always trying to like almost pre-think of what I can do. And it's almost by just doing, you kind of led into whatever your lane's supposed to be, kind of like you showing up in Morocco.
Yeah, the less effort sometimes, the better the video, you know? It's like, all right.
Yeah, that's like a good life lesson. What do you think that is? Why is it less effort sometimes is like all we need?
Well, this is one time I was in the ocean here in Morocco, and I was really in my head, you know. I was like body surfing and thinking about life, you know. It was a busy day, and there's this one wave I caught that was just so little effort to get into it when I was body surfing. And it was like that with the videos. It's that same sensation.
Wow.
We could look for in other aspects of our life. When we're battling really hard and trying to fight, it's just not our spot, you know? It's like, wait for that moment. And that doesn't mean you can't move and search for that moment, but don't try to battle to find those things.
That's a really good metaphor. Yeah. Yeah. Because I've been surfing more lately, summertime, and, you know, trying to get into it. I'm still a beginner, but like there is something to overdoing it on trying to get a wave. And it's just like, that just wasn't your wave, or you're late on a wave, but you're trying to get in anyways. You just get hit so hard, but it's those ones you're just in the perfect position for. And then you don't really have to do much. You're like, yes, there's some light preparation to make sure you're in the right position. But then it's a matter of kind of, just patience and like recognizing what's yours and what's not. I like to get esoteric and metaphorical like that, so that's perfect. What is
Yes, yeah. Great way to put it. What's yours and what's not.
Tell me about, do you get like a common is there like a common question you get on your YouTube page? I know when people get bigger on YouTube, you start to get more questions from your audience. Is there one that stands out as like a common one?
I get like, how do you afford this lifestyle? How do you make a living? Is a pretty common one. And I tell them I teach English online. I've been working with a company, VIP Kid, for like a year now, but I think I'm almost done with that. It's getting rough. I'm feeling burnt out, and I've had some bad reviews, so now it's like I'm under review. I don't know what's going on.
Well, what a perfect nudge in the new direction. So what a lot of people I'm talking to are you know, the coronavirus is like a good chance for everybody to kind of go from one thing to the next because of how much the landscape is changing. What do you think for you, if you had to give me the overview of what chapter you're entering, what do you think it is?
Wow. What chapter am I entering? That's a really big one. Well,
I get a little.
Like, so we got this space here, and we're super excited about it. We bought puzzle piece mats, and like we really want to start having our own classes here. You know, the whole time I've been teaching years at surf camps. Last year I transitioned to teaching in the yoga studio here, but now we want to have like our own space and our own our own entity, you know.
Yeah.
We're working to more autonomy, and this next chapter I really want to continue with the YouTube and be able to take it out of Morocco eventually. You know, like I might be leaving soon, but a lot of my audience is from Morocco. So I need to find a way to stay relevant and interesting to people as my life changes, because I told you, we're talking about roots and everything. I think another year for sure in Morocco. But after that, we don't know where that chapter is going. You know, it's really...
Have fun.
Chapters are really... it's hard. Like this past year's chapter, I haven't cut my hair, right? It's been almost a year, no haircut.
Nice.
And it's like... how do we mark our chapters? When does one end and the next begin? You know,
yeah, it's really hard to tell. And I don't ask you for like a very specific answer, more of like, what do you intuitively feel like you're going? And that's a perfect answer. You're stepping into more autonomy. You're like, you're really letting yourself dance with some more creative projects, which I'm sure like feels really good. And you're stepping into newness, you know?
Yes, confidence and newness, producing videos, like thinking about this. I'm learning so much just through YouTube about Morocco as well, from the comments. Like, I would love to move into YouTube as a platform more for education as well. You know, like I have a lot of entertaining and just fluff, pulp and stuff, but I would love to do more education, having my own podcast as you do, you know, right now with these interviews. We had a couple Japanese people for sushi the other day for a video, and it felt like a podcast almost. We're asking them these questions, and I want to continue to build that, you know, just work on an audience, and also just have confidence in what we have to offer here. And that's something,
and remember it. And remember, you are the content. I'm like seeing where you're thinking, and I'm like, yes. And I'm also like, don't forget that, you know, Kevin is, he's enough, and like totally is a brand, and watchable and entertaining and likable. And that's like the part, you have the ingredient that obviously is getting traction that so many people don't. So it's just like, it's really cool to see. And I trust that, like, as you got to Morocco, and as you fell into this YouTube stuff, the next chapter will be, I think, no different, as you kind of just do it. Sounds fun for Kevin.
Yeah, it seems to have worked out so far. So I think I'm going to keep doing it.
That's good energy, man. You have good energy.
10 years were never like, yes, I'm going to do that. You know, like I have these ideas, like, you know, they're calling, but like I was never, really sure where.
And they all just kind of like seem to just like plop into place when it was right, huh?
Yeah. Same with my career at the high school as a paraprofessional. Like I graduated university. I was still struggling with epilepsy then. This was 2012. I went to Australia, did a working holiday, came back and was like working at a gym, you know, front counter. I had a college degree and I'm working next to the high school kids, you know, it's like, okay, come on, dude.
Yeah.
But I found this opportunity, and I remember I had the job interview at the high school. I was super excited because, you know, it's like Park District, high school's way better. And they asked me, they go, you know, we have some students with physical disabilities. They may need some help with hygiene and like, you know, bathrooming. I'm like, they're like, are you comfortable working with diapers and stuff? I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah. You know, I want a job. You're going to say yes.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to actually have to do it. You know, they told me they'd ask me that in the interview and you just say yes. But at the end of the day, it came down to like, that's what my job was. You know, I was working with the physically handicapped as their one-to-one, and I would help take notes for them. I'd read them tests. I would push them in a wheelchair if they needed that, help with feeding, but also the bathrooming. And this was just like something that I was not prepared for, you know, like I never wanted to have kids, so I didn't want to change diapers. And here I am, like 23 years old. This kid's a super senior, you know, he's like 20 years old. He's like my peer, you know, like he was closer to my age than you and I are. It was like, and I just, it was hard, man, but I knew it was good work, and I was doing a lot of yoga at the time. That really helped me to be able to do this job. So I'm like, someone's got to do this, you know, like, why not me? Like,
wow.
So I was doing this dirty job, smelly job for 4 years. And during that time, though, I became a water polo coach as well. I played water polo when I was in high school. And that was one of those things that just kind of like came to me, you know, it was, and then that was super fulfilling then, because I was able to step into this role and help kids to have healthier habits, to learn about strength and conditioning, setting goals. And this, I was able to work in a greater capacity as a teacher. So I really enjoyed. But for an example of an opportunity that just like comes to you, you know, like my friend sent it to me, but because I sent a link to my friend for that job that he saw that job posting and sent it to me. So these actions that we have to help others can come back to help us as well. So when we do something to help, like this is it, you know, everyone knows this, the secret, paying it forward. You do things for good others, you give love, you get love. So this is actually, I guess, just the plan. You don't need to plan so much. It's in the now, it's in the how you react with the people in the now, I guess.
Wow. Yeah, I love that. You might have just answered it, but like, what would you say to someone like me? I know that like the culture we live in is so forward thinking, and like I have to have my ducks in a row and I have to have a plan. And if someone asks me what I want to do and I don't have the, you know, that clean answer, it's like, but I really like how a lot of beautiful things that have come into your life have been just like kind of one thing to the next thing and very present. And so what would you say to someone that kind of is chronically looking forward and planning and trying to compartmentalize their life and future? You know, what would you say?
I think it's good to always have something to look forward to. So this planning, and it's definitely, you must take care of your future. But me at 25, like if I could see myself at 30, I would not have planned for this. You know, I just done my yoga teacher training, and I started a relationship with my ex-partner, and I just kind of stayed in my career. But I kind of had the future in mind, you know, but it was always, what can I do right now to develop myself in some way I want to be going? So always looking for the now. Look for the future for something to expect, but like Alan Watts said, have that present sense of music, of dancing, of singing, of that playfulness. One more thing I wanted to say about that. You said about compartmentalizing, thinking about the future. Goes back to the epilepsy and Morocco. Sorry, two different things there. In Morocco, we say Inchallah. This was something I didn't learn before I came here. Inchallah, Allah, God, means if God writes it or if God wills it. So everything we try, our best laid plans, we could imagine this, it's all Inshallah. End of the day, all Inshallah. For me, I've learned this in my own personal life with the epilepsy, that my life could change like that without me even knowing it. You know, it's not like it's completely within, you know, it's within me, or it's between me and something bigger, right? So this is why we say Inshallah. So whenever you're doing all these plans, you're great to plan for the future and everything, but always remember at the end of the day, Inshallah.
Man, I love that.
Like, don't put it off, like wait to do something, because, oh yeah, it'll be better. It's always Inshallah, man.
I love that.
This is a really powerful lesson from Morocco that I've been taught. It's all Inshallah.
That's beautiful,
Coronavirus
man.
as well.
Man,
should teach
Inshallah.
the world,
Inshallah. I like it, man.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up here. My favorite final question to ask. I mean, you kind of just hit it, but maybe it's a different answer. Assuming you would change nothing and assuming everything kind of happens for a reason, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. What is a piece of advice or encouragement you would give your 25-year-old self?
Piece of advice or encouragement for my 25-year-old self, 2015, July. It's, don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Were you worried?
I would say, don't worry. Don't worry. You know, you got this. You got this. Don't worry.
Were you worried at 25?
I was not worried. It was just, I don't know, 25, man. I was just getting into acro yoga. Like I said, I did my yoga teacher training. I had switched, taken on the head role of the water polo coach, and yeah, it was easy. I was making enough money to, you know, live, but not enough to go on vacation or go. There were a lot of sacrifices I had to live that life, you know, to be making. It's maybe 30,000 a year, so it's like not a crazy amount of money, but it was enough. I like a probably know simple life, you know.
Yeah.
I like some things like sushi and traveling and stuff, but like most of my life is pretty simple. This shirt was probably like 5 cents second hand, you know, like I live very simple. So that was enough money, but it made me sacrifice a lot of things like traveling, because I didn't make as much money as the teachers. I couldn't travel in the summertime, or I couldn't go to Divine Flakes. I couldn't take the extra days off, you know, because you had this set schedule. So at 25, I guess I was worried about, I had root chakra things I was working with, this sense of security, as well as this over-rootedness to that security, you know. I think at 25, I started having a good sense of security. Like I had all these extra side gigs. I was making enough money that I felt like rooted, but I worried about finding that being too rooted, you know. The root chakra that's just like, I'm staying here, this is safe, I'm good. So I would say to don't worry about that, holding on, and to time will come when it's your wave, right? When it's an easy paddle.
Man, that is a fucking awesome answer. I appreciate you, man. That was awesome.
Thank you, Max.
Thank you, brother.
This was a pleasure.
This was a pleasure.